think it's hilarious just seeing these two, you know, side by side, the Goped and the RC car, the Losi 5T. Just knowing that they have the same power output is hilarious. This is supposed to be something that you're not, you know, being driven by or driving physically. You're just watching it be driven, but this is something that actually moves you and transports you. And man, does this thing move. It is terrifyingly fast, like ridiculously fast. Not only is it the exact same engine on the Goped, but also it's exactly the same pipe, the DDM Dominator pipe, and exactly the same silencer. Just beautiful. And this is a legit K&N filter though. It's not, you know, a fake replica or something. So these engines, and just awesome. You know, you wouldn't expect an RC motor in exactly the same spec to be powering something that, you know, you're driving yourself. But I did do a video on this before. If you guys haven't seen it, this actually towed me in a cart and did a great job. I thought the clutch was going to be absolutely destroyed, but it actually wasn't that bad when I took it out. I think it ate like 50% of its life. I was expecting it to be completely to the metal, you know, completely done, but yeah, it survived. And it makes me understand why Goped uses these Zenoa engines and Chongyang engines and whatnot for powering a full-scale human. It's because they're actually pretty capable, and yeah, otherwise it wouldn't be on this scooter. But I always wanted one of these Gopeds. It's just, for me, they look kind of sketchy, and it's not just about that. In the beginning, it was more harder to attain, let's say. This is more a California thing. They're made in the USA and all that, as you can see, and it's from a legit company, Goped, but in North Carolina here, they're not as accessible. We don't really have a dealer, at least not that I know of. But yeah, so I wanted to get one, but I wanted to customize it to my spec. I ended up with the GSR Sport, which is the hard tire. Now, there are pros and cons about the hard tire. The hard tire is great because you don't have to worry about tire pressure. You don't have to worry about, you know, puncturing the tire. It's a very solid tire. The only problem with these is that they don't have disc brakes, so the brake caliper actually clips the rubber, hence why there's, you know, rubber debris over here. And another thing is that there is no cushion. The air tire gives you some cushion, and some of these even go further to have suspension. This has no suspension and no cushion, not front and not rear. So you literally feel all the bumps and dings on the road, and frankly, it does make it more sketchy because you know, you can tip over easily. If you get something big and it just holds, it just locks up, it'll tip you over. So you do have to be more careful with the hard tire, and it is definitely a less comfortable ride. But does it get you to where you want to go? Absolutely. Is it lighter weight? Absolutely. And yeah, let's just go over some of the quick features, because this isn't a stock Goped by any means. Okay, so the first thing, usually they come with wooden decks. This is a custom deck from DDM Racing, and this is like etched out to be lightened. It's lightweight aluminum. Very nice. I love this thing. They do have them in carbon fiber, but honestly, I found that the carbon fiber ones are very smooth and slippery, especially if it gets a little wet. The etchings here actually give you some kind of grip when you're standing on it, hence why I opted for the aluminum. Otherwise, you guys know me, I love carbon fiber everything. So yeah, the carbon here is not real carbon right now. This is just a wrap, you know, so is this, and even this is just a wrap. But there are some cool features like the ADA Racing handlebar grips. I'm not sure if these are oversized handlebars. I believe they're the stock handlebar size, but I love the ODI grips. These ODI grips are literally the same ODI grips I use on the dirt bike, and the same ODI grips I use on the mountain bike and the quad. So I love these cushion grips. I think these are patented by ODI. They're my favorite. And on a scooter like this with no suspension whatsoever, little things like this, I'll take anything I can get. You know, anything that can help me, I'll take it. One thing I will say about this engine, it's ESP ported, again from DDM, very similar to that. You know, that one does have, you know, some Taylor RC modifications to it, like the pull start and not the extreme carb. It was the extreme carb, but I modified that carburetor, hence why it doesn't have the black bulb on top. But yeah, same silencer. That's just carbon fiber. It's the same silencer. I had to reroute it to come from the back and underneath it, like a car, kind of. I like this style a bit more because, you know, just first of all, it doesn't hang out all the way, which it did when I first bought it. And when I first put the pipe, the exhaust was like till here. So going into narrow spaces was very tricky. But yeah, other than that, it has an intake, cooling intake, aluminum cooling intake. It has a DDM custom air filter. It's very light and very small and doesn't take up too much space. I like this one on Gopeds. On RC cars, I like my, you know, normal K&N filter style or uni filter style. But on this one, the more compact I can make this, the better for me, because again, you want to zoom through tight spaces quickly, things like that. It's available. Also, if I ever decide to take it to the racetrack as like a means of transport, the less space it takes on a trailer, the better. Another thing is that I don't like, this is the way it came though. It came with a very, very small main, a very big main sprocket. I believe it's 9, and I want to go back down to 6 because this thing is built for very high top speed, which I absolutely don't want, because it doesn't bog down or anything on the low end. It's pretty good, but at the same time, it's just, you know, not as torquey off the line, and at the same time, at high speed, it becomes very, very twitchy and very, very scary, because this engine just keeps on pulling and pulling and pulling, and I'm not comfortable doing that speed on this thing without a helmet and even full body gear. It's just absolutely scary. Another thing is, these are, I believe, 2-piece or 3-piece wheels. Can't remember, but they're really, you know, they're aftermarket wheels. They're very nice, also lightweight. You have the EDM fuel cover. Even this wheel right here is an aftermarket wheel. It's a full aluminum finish. It's beautiful. It's like a chrome finish. But yeah, other than that, I'm trying to think what other modifications we have here. Other than that, it's pretty stock. But the one thing I will do is go back to, I think, 6-tooth on the main spur gear, because yeah, it's just too much high end. It's geared for top speed. I don't want that. I want something in the mid-range. I'm not trying to break any records with this thing. I just want it as a cool means of transport, something reliable that you can just, you know, fill it up with gas, 2-stroke gas, and just pull the start and go. Okay, so we're gonna take them both out and drive them. It's just wild. This thing is really, really terrifying. So yeah, gonna take them both out right now and start them up and show you the little comparison between the two. I think it's super funny. thing is absolutely terrifying. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video on the Goped GSR Sport. Like I said, this thing is absolutely scary to drive. Scary fun though, it is super fun. I love that two-stroke open up where it's just like a turbo and it just spools suddenly, and then it's just, you have to hold on for dear life on this thing. I think definitely though a helmet would be beneficial on one of these things, because yeah, I don't really feel very confident, especially when it opens up, because this thing just keeps on going. And you know, 40 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, they might not sound like a lot, but when you're on this thing, trust me, it feels very, very fast, especially when you don't have air tires. And yeah, I want to try the air tires. You know, I know some people prefer either or, but I do think that the air tires would be more comfortable, let's just say. But yeah, anyways, that's it for today's video. As always guys, I will see you next time. Ciao.